Hello and welcome to another episode of Kool Kordz. My name's Hugh Blaines and welcome. I'm just about to go to Australia for a little trip for some performances and to play some gigs. And I'm here in stormy Den Haag, and I'd like to just tell you about the coming Kool Kordz episodes. I'm going to be covering diminished fourths, some improvising with tenths, this concept that I've been working on, one note changes, where just changing one note creates a whole new feel. And I'm also going to be covering the 5-1 progression and modulations that I'm working on as well. So I'm going to give you a brief summary of that now. So hope you enjoy. And concept that I'm going to be looking at over the next month before I do the Kool Kordz video is this diminished scale. But if you do the thirds, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the double flat 7, which is the 6. But if you do the fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you get this kind of nice minor and major triads. So I'm going to be working on variations of this, all groupings of this like this. Sort of thing. That sort of thing. Also working on ways to do triad pairing. So maybe if there's the F major and the B minor, then we go, we just do those ones. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing on this before I go to the next concept is doing open wide voicings, the same way that you do the Barry Harris flat 6. You can do it with the triad pairs, or you can do it with the whole scale. So we look forward to that Kool Kord video where I explain more. I had another video that I'm going to do, which is a concept of mine, which is to play the 1, 5, and 10, 3. And the whole idea of this exercise is to hear the dissonant notes, the stretching. I guess you can call it a stretching exercise. Where, for instance, if I'm in C, I'll be thinking about all the notes that aren't C. So this, I'll be thinking. And another way to stretch is to think of the pentatonics, the one closest to the C, so the B. Got this from Andrew Sugg when I was studying at Monash University. And then interesting way to stretch this is to do the this also becomes this kind of minor 7 from A flat, and then we're doing our modulation in fifths using thirds, which is another video I did a while ago. The idea is, I guess, you just keep stretching till you get back to the home key. So using the dissonant notes, we keep changing keep practicing different dissonant notes and hearing them. So I'll demonstrate that now. So that's a little stretching exercise that I've been working on, which I'll explain more in a Kool Kordz video in the future. Another exercise that I'm working on is the one note changes exercise that I've been working on, which is where this is the 6-3 one. So if we're 6, 6-3, 6-3, major, minor, diminished. And the whole concept is that you only have to move one note each time. And I'll show you all these variations next time, but it's a really fun thing to do. There's another variation here where you go. And then 7. 6 augmented, and then you're back to the next one. And there's the 6-4 one, 6-4, where you just move in the different positions. I find it a great way to realize that just by changing one note, you can actually go pretty far away. You don't have to keep moving so quickly. So it's really a great exercise to keep the position. Now, another concept that I'll be working on with you is the 5-1 concept. Now, there's the Pachelbel Modulations video that I did where you keep going down by fourths, but this will be going up by fourths to get the dominant sound. So up a fourth, now a tone or semitone down, up a fourth, tone maybe, semitone. The idea is that eventually you get to all the different possibilities of 5-1. Remember, if it's 5-1, you can only go from 5 to 1. There's no other way. So really, if your 5 is a G, it has to be a C. But the whole fun is trying to come up with different, find different 5s. Now it's time to show you some things that I did with this, which is if we think in 3 and 7, and then we just keep going 3 and 7. Really fun. And of course you can just go down in semitones as well. Understanding the principle of the 5-1, which is the 3rd and the 7th. There's some Barry stuff that I can do here, which is, you know, flat 7, and then 6, minor 6, to do that for all of them. So we just keep going through our 5-1 modulations, and the suspensions that I got from the Pianist's Guide to Historic Improvisation book, which I'll give you the link to in the description, tells me about these suspensions that I can use, which is 5/3 and 3/1. So if I go 5/3 and then 3/1, I get this kind of suspension. And of course the 5 always has to be dominant, it always has to be major, but you can decide whether it's the resolution, the tonic is minor or major each modulation. So there's some great things that you can do with 5/1. Of course you want to practice your improvisation over this as well. Great for any kind of piano introduction, or we'll talk about uses in songs I think later on, but I think it's great if you're in a piece and there's a G7. You can not just think about G7, but you can then maybe try and think about other 5/1s in a really short space of time, like so we're just trying to go around another really quick cycle. The last concept that I'm going to be working on next month before I do the videos is another concept from the Pianist's Guide to Historical Improvisation. There's a page on this progression, which is the minor 1, 5, 1, and then we do the 5 of the relative major, major, 5, but then going back to the 6, which then becomes the 5 of the minor 1. So the whole idea of this is to try and get your left hand and right hand working. So first right hand maybe. All different kinds of, schemes. Last one can be minor or major. I like to get my left hand working as well for this. And of course in all keys. I'm doing Pachelbel now. Let's start again. So there you have it, some Kool Kordz concepts coming up. Have a great month and we'll see you later. Happy practicing. Bye for now. My name's Hugh Blaines. Subscribe.